Hi guys, welcome back to another video of NetEyes. And in this video we're going to talk about relations. Relations are all about extracting data from the database. As you may already know, we use MariaDB as a backend, and today I'm going to show you how, for example, templates use relations, how you can test them, and how to see what is coming out of it for you to understand how you can use that power in your templates. So we're gonna use router 1, our favorite router in all of the videos, and we're gonna see a template that we saw last time. Okay, so last time we used a template interface VLANs from the main template, and we're gonna look at it again. And here you're gonna see some of the template and the relation power, where one line can be either generating nothing or a whole bunch of interfaces in this case. So this is the interfaces relation that is being used. So we're gonna dive into that and see how it gets its results. Okay, so I open up a new tab so I can jump between them and show you. We go into design, and there we have relation test. We're gonna open router 1 because you wish to use a relation against a device, so it sees the world from its perspective. So in here we're gonna look at interfaces. That is the relation that we've been using. Here you can see that it shows you the exact SQL query that will get you the results. So what do we see? Well, we're not going to dive into the SQL language right now, but we do going to dive into the result it's getting. So as you know, router 1 has several ports. In this case, it has 5 gigabit Ethernet ports, and that you can see right here. So we got port ID, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is the same port ID along with the slot ID that was used in one of those templates as well. So if we jump back quickly, we can go into the port templates. We had the user port template, and you can see that it is using port type, slot ID, and port ID. Let me zoom in there. Port type, slot ID, port ID. Those are the exact values that you see here as column names. So we got the port type, slot ID, and port ID. And that combination will result in gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1 on the first entry, right? The first row. So this is the information that is presented by the relation interfaces, and each of those values can be used. So how would it fit, right? We can show you that by using, of course, another tab. You can use node config to test those values. So we go into operate, we go into node config, and here we get again our favorite device. We open it up, and instead of sending a command to the device now, we're going to especially use the evaluate button to verify what it is that we're doing. Okay, so we use a relation, and there's a special syntax to it, of course. So normally we have a variable that is between a smaller than and bigger than sign, or larger than. If we wish to use that from a relation, we can do variable at relation, and that would give that specific information. So if we would test that against the relation that we're using now, is we are using the relation interfaces, right? So that would be the last part. From that relation, we're going to use some information. Let's say port ID. I wish to grab that specifically for each of the lines. So here I could say, okay, I'm going to start my variable. My variable would in this case be the column name at the relation that I'm looking at, and I'm going to stop it right there. So here I could say port ID equals something. Okay, so what we're gonna see is when I press the evaluate, you're gonna see port ID is 1, port ID is 2, 3, 4, 5. as many times as that information is in the database. Imagine this as an Excel sheet, right? So there are columns, there are rows, and that will give you the information. Again, port ID, it will get each of those lines in the evaluate that I just did. The same could be done for any of those column names, right? So the last time we used port description was, for example, we had the port template. There was something that was called port reserve. So here you would have only one value, right? So if we would use that, we go back here and we could say, okay. So the text in front is just to make it clear what we're looking at. We could say, okay, I'm looking at port reserve 1 in the relation interfaces, and we're going to see what it holds. So again, it's same line exists, the port ID, it will get 5 entries from the database. In the second one, there are 5 entries, but not all of them have a value on it. So we could combine that with some logic to extract if it actually has information, right? Since only port 1 has it, we could extend this test a little bit and use some logic to only get the value that we wish to have. So we could say double pipe, we're going to look for a Boolean test in this case, and we're going to test that same thing if it holds any information within the pipes. So we say if there's any value, then we're going to print it. So this should result in only one entry which says port reserve is 10, right, for only for the first port. So let's have a look. So as expected, we got all the port IDs still, nothing changed, but now we only got a value returned for the port that actually had the port reserve 1 filled. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. A relation, which is a MySQL entry, can give either 0 or more results, and that information can be used by defining the column name before the @ sign, the relation after the @ sign. So if I write it down again, there would be column name, which is the actual variable that you're looking for, at relation would give you 0 or more results. This time we used interfaces. The same would apply for other things as well, like subnets, which is shown in the template as well. If I go back to the template, which was on screen 1 or tab 1, we go back here, we go to the sub templates, and we had the interface and VLANs. We scroll down, so here we used the same kind of thing. This one is a little bit more complicated. I'm gonna dive into that in another video, but we can just show you already what the IPv4 service holds. So if I load this, again, we are in the relation, I'm loading the IPv4 service, and you will see that this would result in 2 subnets on that device within that service. So you see that R1 has a management subnet and a user subnet. You can see the VLAN ID, for example, but you can also see that it holds the net address, it holds the net mask, the net IP gateway, all of the things that we used in the previous video. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.